Hello, my name's Andy. Welcome to episode 88 of Keeping Water. So, as the title says, this is a bit of an announcement video. I've decided, for all intents and purposes, to stop YouTubing. I'm not closing down the channel as such, and I may make videos again in the future. Making videos is why I started the channel after all, but they will be closer to 2 or 3 times a year rather than weekly. This is a decision a few weeks in the making really, so I'll explain why. Firstly, as I've said before, and as you'll know if you post to YouTube yourself, it takes a lot of time to make videos. Time in which I could be doing other things really. Secondly, my channel isn't really growing. Yes, my subscribers creep slowly upwards, but in terms of views, on average, things are actually declining. I always said that as long as I was getting 100 weekly views or more to my main episodes, then it would be enough. But I'm really starting to decline away from that amount. I mean, usually if I look back a few months, I'd reach 100 views for a video within sort of 24 hours. Now it maybe takes 2 or 3 weeks. And really, after a week, I'm at around 60 to 80 views. That, coupled with the time it takes, has somewhat eaten away at my motivation. As much as I like to view things objectively and dispassionately, it's hard to spend a long time making videos, putting a lot of effort and commitment into them, and then see the results declining. I realise that building a successful channel takes time and hard work, and each can grow at a different rate. But I'm approaching the end of the second year, and as I said, I feel I've put in a lot of hard work, and over time the results are getting comparatively worse rather than better. Now again, I know channels can often stagnate for months and not do any better, and then suddenly start to improve again and pick up, and there's many things you can do to kind of make things a little bit more YouTube friendly, but I don't think that's the case as far as my channel's concerned. I'll try and avoid too much self-analysis, but I've obviously looked at other channels and thought about why my channel isn't doing so well and others are. Channels and their creators are often as similar as they are different, so unpicking presenting style, video structure, etc. isn't really that helpful. Now I know I don't follow a particularly good YouTube friendly structure, and I'm probably not the most engaging or knowledgeable of presenters, but having said that, I don't think that either is a reason by itself for why my channel is not doing as well as others. I think the answer is much more simple really. So, if you type in ponds into YouTube search bar, you'll be supplied with results including goldfish ponds, wildlife ponds, and, most commonly, koi ponds. What you don't find are ponds like mine. You might find some ponds that look a little bit like mine. And you can find the fish I have within other types of ponds, but not as a group, not as a theme. So I have a niche little setup, and it's not surprising that it won't attract a large viewer subscriber base. I just don't think there's really the market out there for it. Therefore, I maybe should feel proud of where I'm at, considering I've not got a more popular setup like, for instance, an above ground koi pond. Ultimately, I've got both the pond and therefore the channel that I want, and I don't want to change either. I think as well, there's so many koi channels or goldfish channels or wildlife pond channels that if you're interested in that kind of channel, you don't need to think of, oh well, there's this kind of weird niche setup, I'll go and watch that for a bit, because really you're spoilt for choice. You can just concentrate on the channels that fit your interests. And that's not me complaining, that's just the reality of it, and that's entirely reasonable. So, taking that into consideration, as well as the stagnant or indeed declining figures, I think it's probably time to wind the channel down. As I said at the start, my plan isn't to never post videos again, although I might not, just that they'll be much less frequent, probably quarterly at most. What I'm planning to do is just to do seasonal reviews of the pond, so my next one would be the end of summer, then I'd do the end of autumn, the end of winter and the end of spring. In between, I'll continue to post to Instagram. Actually, maybe even more so than I do now, and that might be my primary way of sharing news about my pond. After all, the pond is continuing, and actually might be more fun without the pressure of weekly videos. I'd like to thank everyone who has watched, liked, commented or subscribed. It's definitely kept me going at times. In all modesty, I think, considering the hardware and software at my disposal, I put out pretty good quality videos, probably above average really. Content is more subjective to assess, but overall, in my less modest moments, I sometimes feel it's a little unfair that the channel's not done as well as others have. Maybe I'm biased. Anyway, enough introspection. That's the update, that's the announcement, and this will probably be it for a little while, probably for a few months. As I say, I will be posting more regularly to Instagram, so if you don't already follow me on Instagram, please think about taking a look. I'll post a link down below in the description. And yeah, thanks again for all of you who have watched and have watched regularly and have commented and liked and all that sort of thing. And maybe I'll see you next time.